I-35 north going to work before. You see the things, they were small going downtown. Just like LA, I was in I saw that. Yeah. And my hotel room was like facing downtown LA, and I got a couple of real nice pictures. Oh, it's small. They said the postcard. Exactly. Yeah. Back that man up like coming in and taking out this sunset. I saw it all. I saw it.
Here, watch. Here's what we were doing today in the car. We'd like go.
You got 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes to fucking sell yourself.
There's one of these where you go.
Because that fucking shows everything.
Oh no, wait! It's one of these, and instead of trail, you do illuminance. Now watch this. So like I'll zoom in on
Sounds like it doesn't know.
somebody,
It's like he flatters. Don't
and
zoom
then
in
go
on me, man.
boom, and it freezes it. And then watch this. So then you can like take it back. Here, check this out. So there you are, frozen, and then you can back that out, and then keep
Dudley's got his tricks.
And that's a trip. You're fucking around with this all day long. Oh, in the car.
All day long in the van. Dudley's like, I got something new. I got something new. Look at. That's pretty wild.
Look at that.
All day long.
You're fucking photogenic. Look at that shit.
It's like a video.
Christy takes over Minneapolis.
The other one, big guy. Well, that's I think you should wait a little bit so we can grab the other one down.
We're going to spin. We'll have to get Les to sign a bunch before he leaves.
How much? What did we do at the door last night?
We did.
Oh no, I don't want to hear.
We only did 145 at the door. We did 320 in merchandise last night.
Wow!
We did at least that much in merchandise tonight. Wow. In addition to our nice little bonus at the door.
Good.
So that was great.
Too bad everyone was gone by the time.
Did he tell you how many people went through the door? Paid?
No.
People couldn't stay out late tonight. I could tell.
His deal was like, they take out for the sound man and everything, and he took in $558 at the door. And if they took out everything for the sound man, we wouldn't even clear $300. He said, "I just going to give you $600."
That's great.
Yeah. And he had a big bar night.
I kissed his ass a bunch.
You kissed his ass a bunch?
Oh yeah.
It worked.
You old ass kisser, you.
That always helps.
It worked.
It's Hennepin down here, ain't it?
It's down there. Hennepin seems to be everywhere.
It is, isn't it?
It's a long ass road.
It's Hennepin.
Hannibal.
It's Hennepin. No, I mean, it's happening.
Doggone it. I didn't do my
I
visual.
bought a drink for
I guess
Sue.
my guitar's in here. My suitcase is in here, right? Someone saw it?
Bought a
They're in
drink
here.
for Sue.
Okay.
When I bought a drink
So you
for
have-
Bob.
I get two. Oh, stop.
Stop!
Oh no, that's gonna go in your film, isn't it?
My favorite thing is to film them what the speed limit is and then pan over to how fast we're going. I'll destroy those, Lou. No, it'll
And
never
we're
get
still
out.
behind the other guy. We're still behind the other van. How does that
I
happen?
gotta tell you that Stevie got some really some personal footage tonight
Cool.
Yeah?
of some people
Really?
that were showing off.
Wow.
That's
Not
what you gotta
including me,
get.
of
Okay,
course.
hey, Dudley and I are gonna
Get
have
them
some,
drunk, let them talk.
Hey, Dudley and I are gonna have some fun in the room tonight.
Hey, the TVs have audio video inputs.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not gonna get any sleep.
Where's Prince? I want to know why he didn't come out to the show tonight.
Because he's a wussy asshole.
He's got a wife and kids now.
No, his kids all died.
That's terrible.
I know.
Really? They did?
They did.
What?
What happened?
They didn't make it.
That was a bummer.
He and his little wife Maya had these little bitty babies. Did not make it.
Okay, well, I was having fun.
But on an up note,
Riverdance is there.
Riverdance is open. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow.
Riverdance is loading in.
Safe for white people.
Black music for white people.
Oh, it ain't black.
No, I know.
That's the whitest looking shit it could possibly be.
I like the commercial with the fat guys that are playing like
Oh, there
they're in
it
the
is.
river
The
dance.
Orpheum.
That's a great theater.
It's too bad they have Riverdance.
Yeah, Hank Williams III was at Prince's bar tonight, so
First Ave or
that might have taken a few of our.
He was at
Potential.
Glam Slam?
First Ave.
He was at
Oh,
First
First
Ave.
Ave. Is there still a Glam Slam?
Oh, I know what I
That was
haven't
his
done
new-
yet.
That was his new.
Look at that, I like that.
Super
Purple
Night
bar.
Shot.
I've been to his purple bar before.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
probably
remember.
what
I
it
think it
is.
was
Glam
Grand
Slam it's called.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's the one he might actually be at.
Yeah.
He would never go to First
I was
Avenue,
looking for
you know.
him.
Bad cops, bad cops. What you gonna do? What
What
you
you
gonna
gonna
do
do
when
when
they're
they
beating on you?
What's that?
Huh?
What song is that?
Bad boys, bad boys.
that
What
a
you
Prince
gonna
song?
do? What you? It's a
No,
dumb
it's-
song
it's
they
a
play
third-
on that cop
What are
show.
they called?
Third Blind Eye?
No. But very close to that. Third something.
Oh, it was a taxi.
Wow, look at that. Get rid of this shit. Okay, there is a set.
I'll
a
be
night.
a wreck.
Oh, this is how you go to the Gopher, ain't it?
Where the hell is the grain belt sign? No, that's
Ooh,
it.
there it
That's
is,
here.
right there.
That's here, isn't it? I love the grain belt.
This is how we
beer
go to the
sign.
Golden Gopher Motel, isn't it, Donnie?
Yeah, it is.
What's that arch-looking thing?
Well,
up
we're not
there?
going
What
that
is
far.
It's
are
a
we?
bridge.
It has the most beautiful
Can we
grain
go
belt
over it?
beer sign.
We're going right over it.
Oh, good.
We're going to.
We're on Hennepin,
We
man.
didn't come this way.
We're on Hippopin.
We're on Henpin.
Hippopin.
Hennepin is happening.
Hippotin. Impotent.
What's Hennepin? I mean, what's happening?
Impotent.
What's happening, man? What's happening?
What's Hennepin?
Look
Oh,
at this.
not much. What's going on?
Look at this building. Look, there's a building smiling over here. Do you see that? Get over here.
Ooh,
Get
it
over
is
here.
a smile.
Get over here. Get over here.
It's a
Get a
major
shot of
smile.
this.
No, you got to get closer. You got to
It
get.
is.
You can't get it from there.
Wait,
There's no
night
eyeballs,
shot.
though.
You can't get it from there. You got to
Got
get
it.
up here to the window.
Did it. Got it.
Oh. I don't.
We've had a good tour, haven't
There,
we?
there's a Daewoo dealership. Get in.
Yeah, Daewoo.
Daewoo.
It's Daewoo.
Jaguar.
It's Daewoo. Okay, where's the grain belt sign? Okay. It's not going to be here. It's not here anymore. There's one on the left.
The Golden Gopher Motel.
I guess that wasn't part of the buy right internet package.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. It's not on though. What a
Where is it?
right there to the left. It's not on. That's too bad. It's a beautiful sign. Look at that.
Grain belt.
That's a beautiful
beer.
sign right there. As signage goes.
What was it?
The grain belt sign. And it's not on.
We're looking for industrial or commercial. What are we looking for?
Industrial.
Like,
It's probably blocks up here.
Party in Julie's room.
Woohoo!
Party in Julie's room.
Me and my girlfriend would love to have you.
It's dying to meet you.
I just love them Puerto Rican girls. Any Euro places around here?
1, 2, 3, no, cutie.
I could goes for a Euro. Ooh, the Conga Latin Bistro looks really good.
Would it ride if you was thinking the same?
Why can't it be like 7:30?
What does bistro mean?
That means
Food and drink.
yeah, food and drink.
Let me show you, baby, I'm a talented boy. Everybody grab a body, pump it like you want somebody.
Julie's singing
Get
again.
up. Here we are, my talented crib. What you want to eat? Toy, I don't serve ribs. You better be happy that dress is still on.
Cause here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge.
Court is in session now. Here
I'm
comes
the judge.
This dude's gone, but that's all right. I crack him that way.
I'm trying to get her off the
Mine
track,
is
but
something dangerous to
What
say.
woman was
Not work.
I like
Rap
'em
with a
bad.
mission.
Huh. I like 'em proud. Gotta have another for me, so move your big ass around this way so I can look at
Julie's a
zip up, baby.
really happening now chick, isn't she?
Tonight. you're a
She's
star.
rhyming.
Who is
You know, I'm
that?
the Big Dipper.
She's
No,
styling.
No.
She's styling, profiling.
It's Prince.
But it is, I don't know, I like 1999.
It's
Never read Corvette,
1999.
that's about it.
Bow, bow. It's supposed to be a celebration.
He's made so many great records.
Bow, bow. That's what the artist said. I never got
There's a
the
White Castle.
invitation.
White
I was thinking
Castle.
that Hennepin went the other way.
Share the love.
Yeah, this is it is.
Bobbity bop 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 bobbity bop bop. Bobbity
Every
bop
time I
bop
hear
bop
that
bop
song,
bobbity bop
it's
bop
my ears.
bobbity bop 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 bobbity
How
bop
does
bop
it feel?
bobbity bop 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 bobbity bop bop. Ram-a-lam, ding dong, ram-a-lam, ding ding dong, ball ball ball. Dum 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 dee doo be wum dum 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 dum. Oh, you know that one.
That's mom.
Diddle-diddle-diddle-it. Sugar. Ah, honey, honey.
You
You
heard
are
Wilson
my
do that?
candy girl. And you got me wanting you.
Wilson Pickett first.
You guys were like
Oh,
almost
no, he didn't, did he?
Yes, he did.
sexy
Oh, man,
tonight.
Wilson is. He's a cheese ball, isn't he?
No, it's great.
It's a good record. Dwayne Allman played on it.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Good
he's
stuff.
brainstorming.
Yeah.
Brainstorming. Brainstorm is the greatest game of the century. Throw away those old bad blues. There's gonna be some good news. Brainstorming and sunshine's a cloudy day away. Brainstorming. Brainstorming.
What the hell?
Brainstorming. There's a really cool guy in Springfield. He was trying to make a commercial for a new game that someone invented.
Who was that?
Bob Mundy. The guy that tried to put Lou in jail
On
What
what?
a dumbass.
on some kind of trumped up cocaine charge.
Yeah, because we all know Lou's a coke
He's a big
addict.
time.
Heroin.
He's trying to tell the police that Lou is a big time cocaine distributor there out of the studio.
Yeah. Everybody knows that.
Why were they leaning on him?
Why else could all those
Because
bands
Bob
have
Mundy
one
is a
name?
big nut. Remember when he showed up at the gig? I thought he had the coolest, like, what's the word when you stitch pictures into fabric?
Applique.
He probably didn't show up to any more
Embroidery.
gigs, huh?
Embroidery. He had the most beautiful embroidered jacket with a bunch of flowers and all kinds of shit and cool stuff. And I saw him come in, and he would always ask him to sit in with us, and he always sang. What did he sing? He always sang an Elvis song.
It's now
or never. You sing that and something else. Anyway, so I was admiring his coat, you know. I thought, wow, that's really. Oh, you can go ahead.
Where the fuck I go? Where do you
Anyway,
stop?
Lloyd called him up. He came up on the stage, and I noticed that it wasn't embroidered. He had like cut a bunch of pictures out of a magazine and pinned them on this denim jacket.
Really?
That's
great.
Bob Mundy.
He's an original.
He is original. You know, he's had a lot of damned opera training that really gets in the way, but
Dad blamed.
Dad blamed opera training gets in the way every time.
Wow, the little white lines look like tadpoles.
But, you know, every town has their like nutty.
Did you need little pieces of paper before you started telling?
Industrial.
Man, this thing makes it look like it.
Are we turning on
Luke, can you
industrial?
see where the hell we're going?
Do
Jeez.
not enter.
Where do
But
we?
you can enter on the
Not
other side,
enter.
though. See? Right there?
Get
Where
higher.
the railroad crossing is?
Get higher.
Brainstorming,
Brainstorming.
brainstorming. Sun shines a cloudy day away. Fuck. Can a man make love to? Oh no! Oh shit! I blew it. How can a? What's the line again, Lou? Can a man make love to a mermaid? Is that what it is?
That's something
Who knows?
like it. Suzanne Wheat.
He won't tell me.
I don't remember. I mean, I got the demo.
I'd really like to know. Can a man make love to a mermaid?
To a what?
A mermaid.
Oh,
They don't have.
Well, I mean,
not
yeah.
unless they split that tail
mean,
in two.
Yeah.
You can
How
imagine.
do you make love to a mermaid?
You split the tail in two, man.
God.
You're sick. You're one sick fuck. You know that?
That would hurt.
Be gentle.
Rip the tail in two and just make love to her.
No, it's like dolphins. They got an
She'll
opening.
like that.
Yeah. No, they like that. They don't act like they like it, but they like it. Oh, Julie, just chill out, would you?
Julia,
Got the funny bone.
Hey, Julie, you are weird.
Oh,
She's
you're
11.
weird.
She's 11.
Splitting a mermaid now.
That's just a fantasy.
Oh, that's even.
It's not real.
That's even weirder.
Be
I
gentle.
know the difference between reality and
Is
fantasy.
that the hotel up there on the left?
It
I
sure
don't.
is.
That's such a nice.
Short trip. Didn't get lost.
Are we really there?
Yeah.
Didn't take the
I
wrong
mean,
way.
Didn't drive
We went
to
halfway to paradise to get there before.
No, we don't understand.
2:33.
Yep.
I think I'm in 2:30.
Right. Partying 2:30.
Have to check with my girlfriend first.
Actually, she invited us over.
Oh, really? Wow. Have to have a talk with her about that. Oh, Lou.
Oh, Leo. Oh, Leo. Oh, Leo.
Used to scare the hell out of
Oh,
me.
Leo.
Me too.
Them fucking winged monkeys is what wigged me out.
And your little dog, too.
Yeah.
She was
I think
great.
we
Margaret,
Go
is that
back
Margaret
this way,
Hamilton?
too.
Yeah, she was
There's a
great.
place to park.
Yeah, they really freaked me out. Yeah.
We can just park back here and walk into the side door.
behind the walls, you know,
Did be back there.
there's trap doors. Yeah, there's a whole other.
I saw one once.
behind that wall.
Oh, there's a cop. Okay, good.
Is he in the car?
He's walking the halls, Rongo.
I'm walking the hall slowly.
I'm good time.
Power.
What it was you witnessed as it happened this morning?
Well, this morning I was sitting by my desk, which is by my window, and I live about 10 blocks from the Trade Center when this incredibly loud explosion occurred, and then it was followed very, very rapidly by a sensation of heat. I mean, we're talking 10 blocks away. You could feel the heat from the explosion right outside.
What the hell is that?
What's going on, buddy? I'm coming in here.
So the World Trade Center on fire, which was, you know, the mind just doesn't.
Is that Mitsubishi?
Like that. Seeing a building like that on fire, you think it's a movie set.
I can't believe how some people will not get over people that are merging on the highway.
There's people that don't have control over their own lives. They want to exert control over somebody else.
Is a little
Human nature.
Is the third street for emergency vehicles. Immediately there seems to be
Trying to keep an eye on these buildings in case a plane crashes into one of them.
people remain on the sidewalk, watching the smoke billowing from the Trade Center, and then the second hit occurred, which you just cannot imagine it. As I said before, if the mind couldn't accept the first one, the second one was.
Can you turn that up just a tad?
And with that, people
Turn it up,
began to run in all sorts of directions. Now, following that, there was a moment, I wouldn't say of calm, but at least people were just standing and watching as vehicles were going through, and there was some sense of what might have happened when the South Tower collapsed. And you saw sparks and debris, and again, the idea that a 110-story building just imploded, just fell down in front of your eyes, is more than remarkable. I mean, it's just a sight that you just cannot erase from your eyes. And if that were not impressive enough, if that were not stunning enough, when the North Tower fell, there was a smoke ball, like an avalanche, that immediately rushed up the street, and 10 blocks north on Chambers Street, there was an enormous cloud, sparks flying everywhere, people flying out of the smoke ball. So much, the smoke debris was so thick, I could not see the neon sign on the restaurant across the street from me. And people were just pouring out of it, absolutely covered, as if they had been sprayed by some sort of gray frozen dust machine. It was the most remarkable sight I will ever see in my life.
And all of this, everything that you're describing, happened in less than 2 hours.
Correct. Within an hour and a half.
Can you tell us what it looks like now?
When did people quit saying
Well,
right
this part
and
of
start
the
saying
neighborhood
Is that like
has now been
1998?
blocked off from street traffic. There is the occasional ambulance or police vehicle passing through. Folks have been held back from Worth Street on south. What you do see is an awful lot of camera crews at this point. And you know, police, emergency personnel, and all sorts of ancillary personnel coming up and down the street.
That's not right.
Some sort of relative calm has returned to at least this part of the neighborhood.
There is going to be a gigantic hole in the skyline next to where the World Trade Center used to be.
It's impossible to imagine. I'm a native New Yorker. I've lived here all my life. I've seen the skyline interrupted by construction. I have never seen it interrupted by destruction.
Oh, that's the blonde-haired guy?
You mentioned the cinematic aspect, and I guess to some degree that's how we see these unreal events in our lives. But we went through a progression on this day when the first accident, well, you think of the plane that crashed into the Empire State Building in 1947, an Army B-25 bomber in a dense fog crashed into the Empire State Building. You think of the Hindenburg disaster. As these things began to mount, what were you seeing?
Well, what I was seeing was certainly the first thing that flashed through your mind was that, again, it was a terrorist attack, because I suppose the World Trade Center just immediately brings that to mind. After the first explosion, as you say, and as I said before, it did seem like it could have been staged. After the second one, it turned into Day of the Locust to the nth power.
My buddies, Kevin, the guy told me, the songwriter, Andy.
Mass terror like I have never seen in my life. People flying in every direction, people crying, people yelling. Utter chaos. Absolute utter chaos. I will say that within a very short period of time, this chaos seemed to be supplanted by a kind of organized, determined effort by people to get out of the area. And I say organized and determined because there just didn't seem to be any sort of, how can I put it, selfishness involved. People were helping other people. People were wheeling other people. People were holding other people, holding hands and running, leading people to the right places, allowing people into their homes, into their doorways, into their vestibules. It was, and still remains, stunning.
Stanley Mises, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
An eyewitness account of some of the events in Lower Manhattan today. We'll continue after a break. You're listening to a special report from NPR News.
Live coverage from National Public Radio of the events surrounding the terrorist attacks across the eastern United States. You're here on Minnesota Public Radio. I'm Gary Eichen. Just a reminder that Governor Ventura is urging Minnesotans not to panic. Now, there have been some evacuations. The IDS Center in Minneapolis has been evacuated. The World Trade Center in St. Paul has been evacuated. Mall of America. And the airport is essentially closed. But Governor Ventura is saying not to panic. Don't call 911. Apparently, the system has been all but overrun by people calling and saying they've seen what they thought to be suspicious activities.
What is today, the 9th? The 10th? What is it?
Governor and Safety Commissioner Charlie Weaver said it's important to keep
that says it all right there.
Video here
That says it all right there. Mall of America closed.
Governor says the National Guard is on alert here in Minnesota, but has not yet been called to
It's National 911 Day.
Let's go back now to National Public Radio. Here's Neil Conan.
We now have a little bit more detailed information on the 4 aircraft involved in today's crashes or that were hijacked. United Flight 93, a Boeing 757, left Newark at 8:01 a.m., headed for San Francisco with 38 passengers, 2 pilots, and 5 flight attendants. That flight apparently crashed near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The second plane was United 175, a Boeing 767. It left Boston's Logan Airport at 7:58 this morning, bound for Los Angeles. That aircraft carried 56 passengers, 2 pilots, 7 flight attendants. American Airlines says Flight 11, a Boeing 767, en route from Boston to Los Angeles with 81 passengers, 9 flight attendants, and 2 pilots is missing, along with Flight 77, a Boeing 757 operating from Washington Dulles to Los Angeles.
It probably was the first one to hit.
4 flight attendants and 2 pilots. Those are the 4 aircraft involved in crashes today. 2 of them at the World Trade Center in New York City, 1 at the Pentagon, 1
If you can hijack 4 planes at once, our system is fucked up.
NPR's Don Gagné, normally at the White House, not at the White House now, Don?
Now they've just widened the security perimeter around the White House. I am at the corner of I and Connecticut, which is a full 3 blocks north of the White House. At 9:41, they cleared everybody out. Staff, press, grounds crew, everybody. The Park Police and Secret Service cleared everybody out of the White House. We were initially told to wait in Lafayette Park, which of course is right across the street from the White House. None of us knew what was going on at that point. We had, of course, heard about the World Trade Center, those crashes there, and just at that time we were hearing about the attack on the Pentagon. So as the morning has progressed, things have actually been remarkably quiet here.
If somebody's holding the die,
we're waiting for information. President Bush, of course, was not at the White House when all of this.
If they believe they're going to heaven forever and have 60 virgin lives,
initiatives, he was actually reading the children.
They'll do anything.
When his chief of staff, Andrew Card, walked up on the stage and whispered into his ear, telling him what was going on.
Being able to get
So
someone,
we know
pilot
he
or
is
person who hijacked it,
flying
being able to have the technical expertise
left
to fly
Florida.
it.
We don't
No,
exactly
they
know
had to
where
have
he's
someone
going
that
to.
could fly
We
it.
know
Those
the Air
were like-
Force One
No, there are pilots
is
involved.
in the air making that.
Yeah, pilots
and
involved.
mostly
They
we're just waiting
would
for
have
information as-
because
as
a pilot
people
would not
gather
fly. A
around this
pilot
ever-widening,
would
perimeter
die
around
before
the
he
White
crashed it into the. He would
Don
fight it.
Gagne,
You know what I mean?
thanks
How do they do
very
it?
much. We appreciate it and hope that as you get
Religion.
more information,
Exactly.
obviously the streets of Washington, our offices are in downtown Washington, D.C., and evidence of some chaos, obviously not panic, but chaos as people spilled out of all sorts of office buildings and basically headed home.
Right. I mean, I did just witness one interesting scene. I mean, you get a sense of the mood out here. Everybody is still trying to soak this in. There are these little vendors all over Washington, and the one here at Ion, Connecticut, had one of those portable radios blaring the news out at the top of the hour, and everybody just stopped and listened. In the midst of that, a man looked to be in his mid-30s rode up on a bicycle, and he yelled in the middle of the crowd that these attacks were appropriate retribution against America, and that justice was done because America has been an oppressor around the world. He was immediately pelted with food and other debris, and the police came in and talked to him and took his backpack, his knapsack off his back, and walked it out into the middle of the streets, and had bomb-sniffing dogs come and look at it.
Wait a minute, is this
and
some
the
Arab?
whole scene
I missed this.
played out for about.
Is this some Arab-looking guy and everyone?
Yeah, in the midst of all those dying people, he said, "Oh yeah, this is just."
Oh, he did.
Yeah, fuck, he's lucky they didn't rip it from rip the limbs from his body.
Yelled derogatory comments in his direction, and he shouted them back.
Nasty stuff.
Don Gagne will be back in touch with you throughout the afternoon. Thanks very much.
I'm sorry, nothing
Joining us now
justifies
is
terrorism.
Richard Schultz.
Nothing
He's
does.
Director of International Security Studies at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy
Nothing
at Tufts
justifies
University
killing
in
innocent
Medford,
people.
Massachusetts.
That's right. Nothing
And
justifies
welcome. Thank you
killing
for joining
innocent
us.
people.
Thank you for having
Nothing ever does.
Can you give us some idea of, this is obviously a
Fucking
large
morons.
and apparently
God damn it.
coordinated effort. It would seem that this would involve a large element of logistical coordination to pull something like this off.
I think you're absolutely right. And it would require time in terms of getting it in place in order to accomplish the acts that we've seen today.
It's too bad they kind of
It
tightened up
raises
the
a really big question about
schedule efficiency on the
early
airlines
warning.
here in the
We
last few
have
months.
very sophisticated,
A
supposedly
year ago, they might have,
intelligence
at least
capability
maybe only
that
one of them
is
would have
to
made
give
it.
us warning. And as far as we can tell, at least
You just
from
can't win.
where we
Can't
sit
win for
now,
Hey man,
there wasn't any
check, make
warning.
sure the rear speakers
Another big question,
They're just
and
covered
we'll get
up.
back
I know
to
they're
that one,
covered
but
up.
another big question appears
They
to
might
be
not be on.
airport security, not just at one airport, but systemic problems
that's
right.
in airport security.
It's systemic, and again,
that's a bit
one of the
much.
things that we have to realize is that when
That's
you
too
build a
loud.
mousetrap,
You're good.
you know,
Better
mice find
turn down a
ways
little
around
bit.
it, and so it's a constant game
A little more than that.
of
You want
check
more than
and
that?
counter check,
Slightly.
and apparently, obviously,
Okay, we're fine.
they got through security. Were able to take over planes, and I want to speculate that at least in the three of the instances, they I would think had someone as part of their team that could fly the planes, because I just can't imagine a pilot if he were told you're going to fly into the World Trade Center would do that.
No, they killed
Even
the
with a gun
pilots.
to
They had
Even with a
pilots
gun
on.
to his head. I mean,
They had their own
you're
pilots. They
dead.
killed the pilots.
And that raises obvious questions then about the crash, which we do not
They
know
won't be
to
able to
be
hide this.
connected
Too much
outside
logistics.
of
We'll
Pittsburgh.
catch it.
Yeah, no, I find that to be an interesting.
You gotta let this guy in.
To your knowledge, how many cells, organizations around the world might be capable of this kind of coordinated and carefully thought out attack?
I think just a few, and I also there'll be a great deal of speculation in terms of whether or not whoever pulled this off had
no one knew this
some
was going
degree
down.
of state level.
That's what I can't
Well,
believe.
No one knew
But
this was going down.
It's
They
not
stopped stuff,
the
smaller stuff
obscure
like this all the time.
and the unknown groups would be less likely, and maybe
There had to be
might
some
go further
rumblings
and say
down
it
there,
would be
some
impossible to
signs
imagine
of this, you
them
know.
doing something like this.
Considerable financial resources.
Are you
would be
watching
have
TV,
to be.
Debbie?
What are you doing?
I'm just think of if you're going to plan something, first you have to go
pretty good. Getting a little bit of history here.
So you're going to have, your intelligence agents, and terrorist organizations have those in place to do the observation, to figure out the weaknesses, and so on. So it's pretty significant.
And again, not just in one location, Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C., Logan Airport outside of in Boston.
Right. And I know Logan Airport rather well. And this is an amazing event that has happened in Boston, that they breached and took 2 planes out of Boston.
I can just
now,
see the board
inevitably,
girl
we
there
start to look overseas during these events. Also remembering that Oklahoma City, a lot of instinctual reaction was Middle Eastern, and obviously that turned out to be totally incorrect. But in Nablus on the West Bank today, thousands of Palestinians celebrated Tuesday's terror attacks in the United States. I'm reading an Associated Press wire story here chanting "God is great," distributing candy to passers-by, as their leader Yasser Arafat said that he was horrified by this.
Mm-hmm. I remember Oklahoma City well, and the reaction that it engendered. But in this instance, I would find it hard to believe that a homegrown group could do something like this. Oklahoma City was pretty crude when you think about it, and from what we know about it now. This is much more sophisticated. I'm not aware, although it could be possible, that some of the domestic fanatical groups that are in the United States could do something at this level.
We should note that obviously the World Trade Center is not on Wall Street, but it is near Wall Street and a symbol of America's financial resources. The Federal Reserve today seeking to provide assurances that the nation's banking system will be protected following the terrorist attacks, said Tuesday it stood ready to provide additional money to banks if needed. Quote, "The Federal Reserve System is open and operating. The discount window is available to meet liquidity needs," the Fed said in a 2-sentence statement issued here in Washington, D.C. The promise to supply additional money to the banking system, similar to a pledge the Fed issued on the morning after the October 1987 stock market crash, when the market plunged by more than 500 points. And around the world, key financial indices sank on stock markets, and some European airlines were canceling flights to the United States and recalled planes that were already in the air. This obviously having a worldwide impact on many different levels. If you will stay with us, Richard, we're going to go now to Tony Randolph, who joins us now in Boston. Are you with us, Tony? Hello, Tony Randolph.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, this is Neil Conan at NPR. You are at Logan Airport?
I'm at the American Airlines terminal at Logan Airport, and there are a lot of passengers milling around, though not as many as you would expect here. A lot of them have been trying to find something to do or some place to go. I talked to a woman who was flying from London to visit her son in Cleveland, and the pilot told them that they were being diverted to Boston because of a tragedy in New York. They didn't find out until they were on the ground what happened. And now that they're here in Boston, they can't get a hotel because people who had been checking out to leave the city are remaining in their hotels, and they're not quite sure what they're going to do now.
3 of the 4 flights that we know to have been diverted today left from Logan Airport. Any statement from airport officials?
The airport, the Massport, which runs Logan Airport, is going to have a press conference shortly. American Airlines is referring all questions to their corporate headquarters in Texas.
And obviously investigations are underway, and people are not going to be willing to disclose a lot of information, but there must be, as you look around the terminal there, are people gathering, relatives?
Not in the terminal. A lot of these people are people who were diverted here, who are passing through, who have no real connection to Boston, who just happen to get dropped off here and don't have a way to get out. There are people who were from Boston who just went back home if they were having travel plans today.
And is there anything else you can let us know now that explains anything that happened this morning?
the airlines are telling us they don't have any information. The people who are here at the terminal say they don't know anything more than what they're telling the passengers, which is they don't have information on when they'll get out, except they will not get out of Boston today because there are no flights, no American Airlines flights will be leaving Boston today.
Thank you very much, Tony.
You're welcome.
Tony Randolph of member station WBUR speaking with us from Logan Airport in Boston, Massachusetts, where 3 of the 4 flights that were hijacked were departed from this morning. In New York, we have a statement that was made a few moments ago by New York Governor George Pataki. Let's listen to that.
The magnitude is just something that has us all really horrified, but we can't quantify it. All we can do at this point is try to do everything we can to help those at risk, help provide the services to those who have been injured, help try to get people from the area as orderly as possible. We're going to continue to do that. At this point, that has got to be the priority.
Do you have any sense, Governor Pataki, this is Sharon Deasenhouse, of whether or not the hospitals in the downtown area are anywhere close to equipped to handle the expected numbers?
Obviously, you can never predict something like this, the tragedy of this magnitude, but we're doing everything we can. The hospitals, the emergency services, everyone is pitching in, and we just have to, at this point, focus on providing that support, providing that emergency services, and doing the best we can for those whose lives are still at risk.
Governor, what can New Yorkers be doing? Is there anything that they can be doing to assist in this, whether it's blood donations, whether it's off-duty police officers making their way in? How can New Yorkers help?
Absolutely.
That New York Governor George Pataki speaking earlier today. With us on the line is Richard Schultz, Director of International Security Studies at Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University in Medford, Massachusetts. And Richard, over the past couple of years, particularly as fears of biological and chemical terrorist attacks have spread across the United States.
Just think if one of those planes would have had a nuke on
defense drills.
There'd be no more New York City right now.
And these are not uncommon in and around the Pentagon, another target of today's terrorist attacks. If one was going to happen, is New York City one of the better prepared places?
Well, it should be. In the last few years, we've had a new concept introduced to us in defense world. It's called consequence management.
Set a fire on the top 25%
of the building. How you prepare for events like this. And we have had training exercises in New York and Boston and Washington and elsewhere.
You can't put out a fire higher than 20
there has been attention and how you coordinate state, city, federal agencies to respond to such situations. And so that system, which has been developed, although not completely, is being tested today.
New York City, obviously one of the great medical centers of the country, and many hospitals on Manhattan.
Right, exactly. And of course, this has also been done within the context of what's called an event that involves a weapon of mass destruction. Now, that's not at play here. So one would hope, anyway, that the effort to have a consequence management strategy is paying off today.
There's a definition of a weapon of mass destruction. Policymakers have one, but a little hard to tell the difference.
Well, it really means a chemical, biological, or nuclear. In this case, as far as I know, but we don't know what could have been on the plane, especially from a biological.
But again, we have absolutely no indication that anything other than aircraft crashing into buildings was responsible for any of the damage today. I think we have to be very careful and make sure that people understand that. The Pentagon, a place that I've spent a fair amount of time in, and a place where there are constant drills.
Yeah, and a place I was supposed to be Friday morning at 8:30, this coming Friday at 8:30 to work on some issues that I'm consulting with. They do have many drills, but that is a building that is in many ways dilapidated. Remember, when it was built, it was supposed to be temporary, and that was in World War II. And so where modern buildings may stand more of a chance. The Pentagon is if you hit it or hit near it, is a really soft target. And I've only seen some of the visuals, but the initial report was that it hit the helo pad, the helicopter pad.
Just outside one part of the building.
Yeah, right outside the south part, but there would be fuel tanks there.
Richard, stay with us, will you please?
Sure.
Richard Schultz of the Fletcher School of Law at Tufts University in Medford. NPR News will provide special coverage throughout the day and night to keep you informed on today's events. President Bush has called an apparent terrorist attack. We'll continue here in Studio 3A until 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Noah Adams, Linda Wertheimer, and Robert Siegel will continue news coverage of today's events on All Things Considered and coverage throughout the night. This is NPR News.
And this is Minnesota Public Radio. Good afternoon or good morning. I'm Gary Eichten. Just a quick reminder here of some of the developments locally. The IDS Center in Minneapolis, World Trade Center in St. Paul, Mall of America in Bloomington have all been evacuated. The Salman Rushdie lecture that so many of you were planning to attend, that has been canceled because of today's events.
That is
the
weird coincidence.
Very strange. Governor Ventura and Public Safety Commissioner Charlie Weaver.
Then they could have got my own idiot moron ravings. But since I brought you this videotape, I want to say something about pot, goddammit. There's one of those half-mast flags. Somebody let me know when you see one.
Gas will still be cheap. They can't call. Everything's going to hell. Today the 11th?
Yeah. Yep.
Day that we'll
live. They're pulling up alongside.
Okay, we're on conserved gas, 55 miles an hour.
Slewfoot Records conserves. It'll take us a while to get home, but
name it. They're going to be closed for classes tomorrow, and most area public school systems in the nation's capital will be closed. We have received a statement from former Vice President Gore, who is in Vienna. He was scheduled to speak to an internet society. He canceled that speech. Mr. Gore calling this a horrific tragedy, an unspeakable tragedy. And he said that the U.S. should use every resource at its disposal to find out who did this and to hold them accountable.
I wonder if we can reach ABC's Steve Taylor, who's across the river from the World Trade Center at Liberty State Park. Steve, are you with us?
Yes, Vic.
As the sun goes down and they bring in those Klieg lights to try to continue the salvage work through the night, it's going to be an eerie sight across the river there.
It's been a day of such sights. You're right. I've seen the lights up on the road nearby here heading for boats to take them across the river, and I assume some of them are also going through the Hammond Tunnel, even though it is not open to traffic in general. Also, an unreal sight, a sky empty of any sort of aircraft, which of course is true across the U.S., but here it's always very crowded. Most unreal sight of all the endless billows of smoke coming from the buildings of lower Manhattan. It's still quite bright here now, so we're not seeing the effects of the light yet. When the 7 World Trade Center building collapsed about half an hour ago. That's a 40 to 50-story building that had been burning all day. From here across the river, the change was instantly evident. The plume of smoke rose half a mile into this bright blue sky with the sun shining right on it. The smoke, a dirty brown white color, and it is at this point, and has been true ever since that happened, but it's very difficult to see the buildings at the extreme lower tip of Manhattan. They are completely hidden in the smoke.
Steve, the last building to collapse was not one of the two towers that went earlier, but a smaller building.
That's right, 7 World Trade Center. This is a complex that actually comprised more than 2 buildings. And 7 World Trade Center just it appears to have been a bit uptown of the towers. I'm saying from the location of the smoke. I can't frankly recall which building it is from my trips over there, but I do know that it was about a 47-story building, a private and public office building like the Twin Towers, at the perimeter of the complex. So when the towers came down, anything close to it, of course, would have had burning material falling on its roofs from the planes and from the damage to the much taller towers. And then after they collapsed, when the downward motion of the wreckage hits the ground, there would be a lateral blast which would blow right into whatever buildings are closest. And 7 World Trade Center was one of the closest buildings. So my guess is we had a fire on the top burning down and a fire on the bottom burning up.
You're listening to continuing coverage from ABC on News Radio 1040, WHO, KKDM Des Moines, KLYF Ankeny Des Moines, and KXNO in Des Moines. One of the items mentioned on CNN, explosions now reported in Kabul, believed to be the capital of Afghanistan. We don't know if this is in any way connected with the other events that took place in the United States today, but that report coming in courtesy of CNN. Locally, we have an altogether different matter.
Yes, a situation involving gasoline. Lots of people waiting for it, expecting the price to go up. The prices are rising. In other cities in the Midwest, $5 a gallon in St. Louis, $4 confirmed in Kansas City. Reports of $4 a gallon gas here in the Des Moines area. Ron Marr is on the line. He's with the Petroleum Marketers of Iowa. There are lots of people waiting in line.
Good thing we got it when we did.
The Pleasant Hill station at 50 to 60 cars waiting. This situation, I suppose people are worried about a couple of things. The refinery situation in the east would be one, right?
Well, as a half hour ago, and apparently there's been a rumor, one of these internet rumors or self-feeding rumors going around, that all the refineries in the United States are closing. Well, that's anything but the truth. That's the most remote thing ever. There are no refineries as of a half hour ago that have unexpectedly closed.
I remember hearing something on ABC News about some, perhaps not refineries, but I think some of the facilities down in the Gulf, though.
Yeah, there's a little deal on the Gulf Coast, but it should not affect prices at all. And that is, the United States has sealed its borders. There are ships in the Gulf of Mexico with crude oil waiting to be offloaded. They simply can't offload. However, all those refineries have multi-day supplies of crude oil, and they'll just offload in a day or 2 or 3. So that shouldn't have an effect on anything.
But apparently is.
I don't know if it is or not. I would say the citizens panicking is doing more to drive these markets than anything. I just made an informal check a little while ago, within a half hour, and everything on the west side at least was still in the $1.60. And quite honestly,
well, really, if you just raise the price to $5, that should stop people from
pipelines or crude oil supplies. So there should be no concerns about supply. Now, markets react to market news. That's why the SEC closed the markets today, all the markets. And we would stand with our statement that we gave the governor's office, that people who would make undue profit,
you know, if I thought we get gas between
because of an act of terrorism, that's simply reprehensible. There's no accounting of that.
Are those who are raising the price of gas right now, then, are they going to face some charges or some kind of repercussion?
Well, the governor's office said that the Attorney General would look at them and see what they could do.
They ought to. Whoever did that is charging $4. They ought to be prosecuted.
There was one gas
That's
station owner
fucking bullshit.
that said Amoco
Gouges
told him
at this time?
that the price is going up tonight.
Amoco pledged to their people that they would not raise the price.
There you go. Somebody step up to the plate and do that.
Run their refineries as hard as they could, wide open. And they cannot tell. They can only ask that their people follow the example of their company in acting logically and rationally to the face of today's events.
Tell them,
So what's local fucking dealers doing this one?
60 cars deep at a gas station on every block. They're going to run out, aren't they?
Well, logic would say yes, they will probably run out, and it's, again, caused by a very short-sighted public. They would be much smarter to lay back and relax and let things, let things simmer down. Or if they're very concerned, there's the option of public transit. It may not be as convenient, but that'd be a heck of a way to save product.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow?
Well, hopefully we'll have a lot better days than today. I guess I would compare today as like my parents' generation, Pearl Harbor, or when I grew up to the Kennedy assassination. And I think the resolve of the American people, they'll calm down, quit feeding off the hype. The sun will shine tomorrow, and carry on. And I would hope that the Iowa Citizen has a famous, fabulous reputation for logic and rationalization and compassion for its fellow citizens. I would hope that their thoughts and prayers for the victims of today's attack far outweigh that of the price of a gallon of gas.
Well, I don't mean to belabor the point, but we are getting confirmation that the prices are going up in some of the Midwestern
I have no defense for those people.
And they're going up here in Des Moines, too.
I have no defense.
Well, I don't know what to say, Ron. Thank you. Petroleum Marketers of Iowa, we appreciate your comments very much. I know you're going to be very...
I would say in closing, if you remember the guy that has held on as long as he can, that's probably your best citizen.
All right. Would you describe what's happening then this afternoon as price gouging?
It's an awful extreme reaction to something that happened that doesn't affect the industry. Now, we know that no one in Iowa makes gasoline. We buy it from wholesale suppliers. Wholesale suppliers control the wholesale price of gas. They may be trying to tell that we don't have gas, but it's always amazing.
Control the price at their
places. It seems like at any price, gasoline somehow becomes available. We know that a lot of people are on allocation, which means that they have contracted 100,000 gallons with an oil supplier. That's all they can get. If they go over that, their contract is terminated. So, if you had the choice between $6 gas and I shouldn't use the term $6, if you had the choice between $2 gas and $1.50 gas, who would you buy from? Would you buy from the guy at $1.50? So the guy may not have his contract, maybe trying to say, don't come here. He'd be smarter to close the station, to be honest.
Well, there are going to be people who aren't getting your message and won't, and they're going to keep on filling up the tank.
Sure.
Well, back to the supply issue.
Sure.
If a gas station runs out, how soon before they get a new supply?
Typically, right now, it'd be within a few hours.
Oh, that quickly?
A few hours. Typically, it depends on the transportation. I mean, how fast can you turn a truck, get from point A to point B?
Yeah, okay. Very interesting lesson. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, probably tomorrow.
Bye.
Goodbye. That's Ron Mara, the Petroleum Marketers of Iowa, and had attempted to get a hold of David Conning, too.
Gotta be rounded up. Put him in jail. See how they like that.
Get his comments.
I'm not quite sure I understood the answer to my question. Did you, when I asked if it was price gouging?
Well, this is rush hour, right?
A direct answer to that question. Let me go back to something that I mentioned just before we started this interview, and that was a reference to a story from CNN and now from the Associated Press. CNN reporting explosions in the Afghanistan capital of Kabul. Want to tell you that Kabul, I believe, is, again, the capital of Afghanistan, and it's also believed that Afghanistan is where the suspected terrorist mastermind Osama bin Laden is being sheltered. Earlier today, the country's hardline rulers rejected suggestions that bin Laden was responsible for the terrorist attacks in New York and Washington. Videotaped or video phone images carried by CNN from Kabul showed flaring bursts of light and flame. And again, we don't know if this is in response to the attacks this morning, if it's something altogether different. We don't really know at this point in time. Again, on the local scene, and normally we would have sports before now, but we can tell you that both the University of Iowa and Iowa State have canceled their regular football news conferences for today. The Hawkeyes and Cyclones are to meet in Ames on Saturday, but athletic officials are considering whether the game should be called off. Now, several national sports events have already been postponed, including Major League Baseball. The NFL is still deciding whether to postpone this weekend's schedule, and as soon as we get an answer to the big question about the game in Ames on Saturday, we'll let you know.
Of course, the price of a gallon of gas pales in comparison to the tragedy and the disruption of lives that we've seen today. But given the fact that we do have questions about what seems to be a rather large spike in gas and a traffic safety issue too this afternoon, with a lot of gas stations jammed with cars, and that's affecting traffic in the metro area, we are going to pursue this issue a little bit further with the help of energy analyst David Downing of the DNR. And David, welcome to the program this afternoon. It's been a pretty hectic afternoon. I don't know if you heard the comments from Ron Marr of the Petroleum Marketers of Iowa group, but he says that there's really no reason for the price of gas to go up to $4 a gallon.
That's true. There wouldn't be right now. Supplies are tight in the Midwest market, but a lot of what you're seeing at gas stations and everywhere else right now is unwarranted. There's just people are panicking, they're reacting. We know at the wholesale level today it went up about 12 cents, and none of this $4 and $5 business. We've had reports that the refineries are shut down, that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. There's just a number of rumors that are running around that's helping to create part of this problem. And what the end result is that if people behave this way, this ends up causing shortages and problems.